have this opportunity to be a part of a legacy of one of the coolest characters to ever exist in anime and manga. It's insane to be a part of such a rich and dedicated fan base, and I still can't even believe it myself. It's kind of surreal to be a part of one of these types of franchises.
Has there ever been a role where you've auditioned, you're like, I have this role, and then you've got the phone call saying, nope?
Luckily, they don't call you to say no, because that would break us.
So how's it been interacting with your UK fans? Once again for you, but for you, first time. Any fun memories so far for the past few days of waking up at 4 a.m. to meet them?
I mean, it's kind of crazy because I started doing like a lot of voiceover stuff just like 5 years ago, and I have not been here since. So it's kind of cool to meet fans of everything I've done in that 5 years. So I'm just kind of like, it's not really one thing, it's everything, which is really kind of rewarding to like go through the Rolodex of roles you've gotten to play and to meet fans of all different stuff. So it's just been amazing. Really, really great energy here too.
Yeah, it's always fun when somebody reminds you of something that you had forgotten you did. Some like they'll ask about the obscure ones. And then also, luckily, like I brought this random envelope of, I thought it was just Big Prince, but people have come up and they're like, do you have any of Clotted Cream Cookie from Cookie Run Kingdom, a game which is like Game of Thrones, but it's about cookies. And so kind of niche, right? But I was like, I'm so sorry, I don't think we do. And then my mom, who I'm here with my mother, her name's Beth. My mom was like, no, we have it. And she pulled it out and we had the cookie. And so it's been nice, yeah. I also find UK fans tend to be quieter, a little more reserved, and quite socially aware. So good on y'all. There's something in the water here that makes you just fun to talk to. A little hard to hear, but fun to talk to when I can hear you.
You've obviously just meet people from the south, people from up north like me. No, we are loud. You'll know when you've met people from the north. Geordies, am I wrong? Do Geordies ever shut up?
What is a Geordie? I have to know. You are a Geordie.
So,
Okay.
Is this like Northumberland? Is this
close? Yes.
Yeah? Nice.
So
We
a
did it.
Geordie, so in the UK, different cities have names for the people where they're from. So as you know, in the UK, if you drive 10 minutes down the road, you'll find a totally different accent. So in Newcastle, people are called Geordies. And we have a very strong, distinctive accent that no one can copy.
We were just debating it.
We were trying to figure out where it was from.
This is me hiding it. Should I go full Geordie or something?
Please.
Please.
I'm going down the town like,
Left.
Square.
Alreet means hello.
Okay.
Gannon down the town.
Oh,
Going
gonna
down
to town. That sound, I just did Irish. I just did a offensive Irish trying to copy that. Do it again.
Alreet, I'm going down the tune.
All right, I'm gunning down to tune.
That was good enough. Or the easy one, if you ever want to say it, so Geordies are a bit thick.
Yeah.
Rather than just saying yes, we use 3 words. Why are you, man?
Why I'm
It's Jamaican in a way, right?
Yeah, it's Jamaican.
It is.
Why I'm on.
So next time you've got a job offer for a role, try and do Geordie.
Geordie, okay.
Imagine Dragon Ball Geordie edition. I don't think you'd get much work, to be honest.
No.
The villains just keep saying, what? What was that? Come
Instead-
again, and then they're punched in the face.
Instead of the Demon Realm, they're going to Geordie or Newcastle, right? That's the next trip for the Z Fighters.
So before you go back to America, have a travel nose. You will not understand a word that we say.
Fantastic.
There's a
Add
tip
it.
for you. But obviously, we're talking about people from the UK and fans. You've been to so many events and meeting the fans, and Dragon Ball has a very dedicated fan base. What is it like meeting these people in the full cosplays, and they've got so many stories about how it's impacted on you? That's a lot for you to kind of deal with and have time to talk to people. Is there any kind of fun memories from your travels and interacting with the fans and talking about their passions?
I mean, for me, it's like I'm in a unique position because Vegeta has existed, you know, the wonderful Chris Sabat and Brian Drummond and all these people who've played Vegeta. I get to have this opportunity to be a part of a legacy of one of the coolest characters to ever exist in anime and manga. And so I'm not just getting to meet new fans of Dragon Ball and Daima, but I get to meet these fans of Vegeta that have existed for, you know, over 20 years. And I get to see like their tattoos or, you know, they got engaged and they had a Dragon Ball cake. It's it's insane to be a part of such a rich and dedicated fan base, and I still can't even believe it myself. It's kind of surreal to be a part of one of these types of franchises.
Have you met Chris yet?
I have, and he was so when I got this part, I was very keen on texting Chris because we have the same agent, and I said to my agent Dean, I said I have to talk to Chris to make sure that this is cool. They're bringing in some, different voices, and obviously Chris has a very distinct, deep voice, and they wanted it to be a sound, like a young version of it, and I had to find my own take on that. But I texted Chris, and I was like, "Hey, man, I know this opportunity's coming through. Just want to make sure it's cool." And he was like, if there's kids here, he was like, "How effing dare you take my role, you POS?" And I was standing at my phone and I showed my wife Allie is here, and I was like, "Oh my God, I don't think I can do this." And then like 5 to 10 minutes later, he texts back, "Just kidding, you're gonna kill it. So excited for you."
Those 5 minutes must have been hell.
They were. I was like, "Oh my God."
That is the sinister side of Chris Sabat, is that he will let it sit.
He
Will let you
did.
marinate with his joke.
And he said, normally I would have let this sit for way longer, but I don't know you that well yet. So he's been amazing, though.
It's good to work with supportive people.
He's great, though. He's been fantastic. Very kind.
Yeah, he is very sarcastic. I love that. Fans, Dragon Ball. I haven't done that many cons since Daima came out, and Daima also has come out very slowly in English. So it's been a slow, like a slow building stream in terms of how many Daima fans I end up meeting. It's been really amazing. I did a panel at New York Comic Con when I got announced as Glorio, and I got to meet Stephanie, who is our young Goku, our OG kid Goku, and the original Dragon Ball was very important to me. I have a lot of core memories growing up with Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z. I still remember I was playing basketball this one time when I was a kid, probably like 10, 11 years old, with my dog. My dog was a very good defender at basketball. He wasn't so good at shooting, but he could definitely knock you over and take the ball from you.
How big was this dog?
He's a border collie. He's probably like 50 pounds.
Was your dog's name Airbud?
No, his name was BJ, and BJ knocked me over, and I fell and cracked my head open on the asphalt. I remember going in and be like, "I'm hurt. BJ fouled me." She was like, "Go lay on the couch and watch something. I'll check on you in a minute." And I remember watching the Frieza fight. It was Goku and his spirit bomb. And I like laid down and bled into this pillow while I watched Goku all battered, trying to charge up his attack. And then Mama was like, "All right, let me see." And I got up, and there was this big puddle of blood where I had been. And she was like, "Oh my God." And she ran off. This is just like, there's some core memories from my childhood where Dragon Ball was just happened to be a part of it. And I also remember like the Dragon Ball with Kid Goku and how funny it was. And I really love, I think Daima has captured a lot of the whimsical humor that Dragon Ball can do, as well as this sort of, one of my favorite things of Dragon Ball has always been, Dragon Ball likes to play with the idea of what if the awe-inspiring power of gods and demons existed in the minds, with the mind of a child. This is exhibited in Xeno, the actual god of the Dragon Ball Super universe, but it's also Goku, right? Like Goku is kind of terrifying because Goku is a very like simple soul. And so there's a fear that like if Goku got tricked, Goku might just kill you on accident. Luckily, he actually has a surprisingly amazing moral compass, and he's kind of living proof that like things don't have to be that complicated. Like you can stand by your values no matter what. Like that is possible if you're just strong enough to do it. Anyway, yeah, I'm a big fan. I've loved it for a long
I
time.
do have to ask a really important question. Before you went to the ER, did you wait till the episode finished, or did you go during? Because I personally be like, it's not much blood. Let's just watch the end. Let me see the end.
This is the best part of the story, is that I didn't go to the ER. Mom turns pale, leaves, goes to Dad, and says, "Honey, I think we have to take Aaron to the ER." And Dad, without looking at my wound, shrugs and says, "Heads bleed."
I mean, was it the magical wet paper? Sorry, Mum, you're being outed here. Was it the magical wet paper towel that you get when you're in school that they just put on? It's like, yeah.
I've always wondered how smart I could have been, if I'd gotten
I mean,
medical treatment.
you lived, you're here. So good
here.
work, Mum. Yeah,
Doing fine.
good work. Round of applause for Mum, yeah? It's the right call.
Yeah, y'all don't know how stupid I was growing up. Like, it was not easy to get me through it alive.
That's such a random story. I love it. So obviously, know about Dragon Ball. Big history behind it. Did you feel pressure when you got that call saying, yes, you've got the part. What was going through your mind other than I've just angered one of the other voice actors and they hate me? Other than that pressure, what was that call like, and what was going through your mind knowing it's so beloved by bleeding children after basketball?
I remember, so I had auditioned for it. So I did like this general audition for Crunchyroll and everything like that. And then the director, Jonathan Rigg, he found me through doing like these general open calls. And then I wound up getting a request to do like a callback. And it didn't say what it was for or anything like that. So I didn't know it was going to even be Dragon Ball. I get on the call and Jonathan, he goes, "So you know what you're doing, right?" And I go, No. I had a couple of ideas of what it might be. It was not Dragon Ball. I did not think I'd be having that opportunity. He goes, "You're doing this new Dragon Ball series." I was like, "Oh, cool. Like, what's the role?" He's like, "You're reading for Vegeta. Did you not read the NDA document that we sent you?" And I'm like, "No, I didn't."
When they say that, they're trying to trick you. You always read the NDA.
I know.
On your Instagram.
They're too
Guess what I'm
long.
doing later?
So I didn't even know I was reading for Dragon Ball or Vegeta, but thankfully I had watched the entirety of my childhood, every single episode. So you were probably bleeding for a few days if you were watching that whole Frieza fight, because that Spirit Bomb goes for at least 10 episodes.
Oh my god, it drags.
I feel woozy, Mum. It's fine. It's fine.
He's almost got it. I just gotta keep giving my energy. So I had no idea what it was gonna be, and thankfully I didn't, because I think I would have peed my pants if I would have actually had to think about it. Did that callback, completely forgot about it. Maybe there was like a glimmer of like, this would be really cool to get. Then like a few weeks went by. I'm like, yeah, that was never gonna happen. Yep. I get the call from my agent, and he's telling me like it's the most casual thing in the world. He's like, "All right, so I just got this call. You're gonna be doing this Dragon Ball thing. It's Vegeta, so that's gonna be really cool." And I'm like, wait, what? It
Obviously
was
not a Dragon Ball fan, the agent.
I know. I was like, "How are you so casual about this?" But it was immense pressure because I know it means so much to people, and when you get to play kind of a new role, I think there's a particular kind of, I would say, feeling about that as well, where you want to stand your own and have that feeling too, right?
But I bet it was more pressure for you, huh?
Well, it's
pressure.
there's like layers of the pressure.
Yeah.
It's like fans have an expectation of like, "All right, buddy, let's see what you got here," especially when it comes to the screams and the transformations, and to have an iconic moment happen in the series. There's a lot of pressure for that. So I just really worked my butt off, lost my voice a bunch of times, and just really wanted to like do everybody proud, a younger version of myself proud, and Chris proud as well too. That was like really important to me.
With Glorio, I'd say so here's how it went. Same deal. I did the audition and forgot about it. This is a thing any actor who's been at it for years, we do this to protect ourselves. After an audition, we're like, "I did not get that part." Accept it, and then you're prepared. A little part of you is ready to be pleasantly surprised if it turns out you're wrong. And so like first you're like, "I didn't get that part," and then 2 weeks later you're like, "I really didn't get that part." And then a month later you hear back from them and they're like, "You got the part," and you're like, "What? I've already mourned for this. What's going on?" But I was super excited once I knew it was Glorio, because my next line of defense was, "Okay, I got a part in Dragon Ball, but we don't know what it is. Who can say what it is?" I'm probably just gonna talk for a bit and pull a gun on Goku and then get blasted into space, right? Like and that'll be fun. That'll be great, But then I got Glorio, which is the part that I wanted. Like I had auditioned for a few, but he was the one that resonated the most with me. He's got that Han Solo look. And then it's fun. I think a lot of him is Star Wars inspired. He is the pilot of a ship. He has a laser gun, which he doesn't really use because he also has lightning fingers, which is also very Star Wars. He's like a combination of Han Solo and Senator Palpatine. And I really enjoyed his dubious allegiance. It's clear that he has an internal compass, like some sense of what is right and wrong, but he is very keen on not sharing what that sense is. He only reluctantly ever intervenes with the casual wrongs that we see happening in the demon world because he has some greater mission in mind. So he'll help Goku because it's the easiest way forward whenever Goku's like, "We have to help these people." Generally, he's like, "Can we just mind our own business, please? We're trying to feed a king here." So it was really fun guessing what his true motives were. I don't want to spoil anything, so I won't share my guesses. But we always took care, me and Jonathan Rigg, to make sure that we had a subtext in mind. And we were never correct until we found out what the truth was, but it was always close enough that I feel like it plays true.
I want to go back to something you're saying about like you audition for a part and you go, "Oh, I haven't got that." Has there ever been a role where you've auditioned, you're like, that is the best work I've ever done. I have this role. And then you've got the phone call saying, nope. Is that ever happened?
Luckily, they don't call you to say no, because that would
Right, okay.
that would break us. What would you say is your batting rate? Like for every how many auditions do you get a part?
I mean, I think if you can hit 10%, you're like a god.
Yeah,
in this
for
industry.
sure.
If you can get that high, so somewhere between like 3 and 10%, somewhere in that range.
I'm like 1 in 40. So if I got 39 phone calls saying you didn't get the part for every part I got, I would quit.
Yeah.
I'd change my number. I'd be like, nope, new number, new name.
For real.
When I was starting out, I was living in New York and I was doing like a lot of TV and film stuff. And in my youthful arrogance getting out of drama school, I remember there's many times I would be like, I worked so hard on this. I'm like, I got it. I started like spending the money that I was going to get on that job. And then weeks would go by and I'm like, wait a second, how did they not call me yet? It's shooting in like 3 days. So you learn pretty quickly to not start counting your chickens. Even like when I would even book things early on in my career, I remember one of the first things I ever did was this show called The Blacklist. I was with James Spader. He was like the main guy in this or whatever. And I had this small part in it. And I told everybody, everyone was getting ready to watch it. And then the episode goes by and I'm not in it. And everyone's calling me and texting me. They're like, where are you? And they cut my scene. So I learned pretty early to stop doing that. So I don't know. How about you?
I was a zombie extra on The Walking Dead.
Oh, no way.
And I told my parents about it, and they told everybody about it. And then we, to this day, cannot find me.
Is it not the one with like the back of his head missing? Like carrying the basketball? Like,
No basketball. I did accidentally. Well, you know what? I probably shouldn't. This is probably the one con where I could interact with this guy, so I probably shouldn't say it.
should he say it? Yeah, you've got it now.
I drooled on Rick a little. I was supposed to try to bite him and then get my head cut off by Michonne, but I had these dentures in my mouth, and dentures keep your Oakland air to make me look like I had rotten teeth, and so I'm drooling out the side, and I would pull the dentures out and then go like, to like drain, and I think the director thought this was like immersion acting. He thought I was like being really method in between takes, and so he was like, "You come here, I've got a scene in mind." He brings me up and he's like, "Okay, Rick just lost someone precious to him. He's going crazy. He's hacking and slashing. You're the dramatic irony zombie. You're coming up behind him and you're gonna grab his arm, and then Michonne's gonna cut your head off." And Rick was really friendly. I don't remember the actor's name.
Andrew Lincoln?
Andrew Lincoln.
Yeah.
Andrew?
Andrew, yeah.
Rick Grimes, right?
Andrew, super sweet. Super sweet guy. Michonne, she like did not even like nod her head at me. She was like, "You're dead. I'm gonna kill you. We're not talking." Andrew was really nice. Shook my hand, but there was a timer on basically, and we did one take, and I was walking too fast. One take, I was walking too slow. At this point, I'm drooling profusely, and I can't drain again because Rick just shook my hand, and he doesn't know that that hand was holding dentures that were covered in my spit. And so I'm like, I walk up to grab him, and I'm the reason that we're on our third take, and I'm an extra. I'm being paid $50 for my time today. I grab his arm and I do the snap back for Michonne, and I just see this like arc of drool lace out, and as I fall to the ground, it latches on his arm. Oh, we were talking about. Oh, right, because I never found the scene.
Oh, right.
So this is a thing that happens a lot with smaller characters. Is we'll think we're in. We film it. It feels good. We're like cool. We tell people, and then it ends up not making the final cut. The editor will just take a ton of stuff out. Yeah.
And even in voiceover, like, I don't believe I actually have the role, and I felt this way with Dragon Ball, because we had done a movie first, and, like, they were only released 3 episodes, and we only recorded those 3 episodes. We didn't record further, even though the Japanese was coming out, so we had to play catch-up a little bit. So I firmly believed they recast me until I saw myself in the movie, and then even then, I said, oh, they're going a different direction. We haven't recorded yet. I'm like, I'm done. I'm out of here. They hated it. Yeah. And so I still don't believe. I mean, I could get recast tomorrow. Who knows? Even though the show's been full.
You got to be prepared for it. I get it.
At any moment.
Our hearts are safe. Some call it insecurity. We call it protection.
Yep.
Well, don't worry tonight. I'm going to go on IMDb and I'm going to tag you as Drooling Rick Zombie.
No. Oh, wait.
No?
If he ever comes up to me and is like, "I hear you've been bragging about spitting on me," I'm going to be like, "I don't know you, sir. I've never met you in my life."
Thank God there's nothing like social media where you could get tagged or anything like that. You're safe.
Deny.
Obviously, Dragon Ball that you're in is it's around 20 episodes, if I remember right. Very
Yeah.
short season. Do you think this is definitely the best argument for quality over quantity because of how strong the story is? Do you think, because obviously everyone wants lots and lots of episodes and things like that, but sometimes quality of the story and the character development is way better than just having this be dragged out. Would you say this is the case?
I think you'd have to have a really good argument to say that this is not some of the best animation we have seen to date. I mean, some of the fights and the transformation, they really put a lot of love into this. And I mean, there's something to be said about having a long time to watch something and to immerse yourself for months on months. I think as a fan, there's a reward of that, of talking with your friends and being involved in the community and having the anticipation for the next episode. I understand that, but I mean, it's also part of the reason why in the Z arc we had 20 episodes of them talking about how they're going to fight each other. So, it depends on what camp you're in. I really enjoyed as a fan watching Daima and getting that story in the 20 episodes. Is there an argument where you're like, I wish this could have been 60 episodes? Sure, but it's like to each their own. I think it puts so much pressure on animators to churn out that type of stuff. So there's got to be a sacrifice somewhere, whether it's the quality of the animation, the financial aspect of things, or, the rest that these people can get in between, like working as hard as they do to do what they do.
I think the age of your target demographic matters with these things. Like when I was 15, the notion of like, and I think that's when Skyrim came out, is around when I was like 17, 18. And at that juncture in my life, I had a lot of time on my hands. And so the idea of there being thousands of hours of content was amazing. I was like, heck yeah, I can lose myself in this. And I felt that way about Dragon Ball. Like I loved having a lot of material to immerse myself in, like you were talking about. But today, I don't feel that way about anything. I want my entertainment to respect my time now. And I think that Dragon Ball Daima knows that its target audience is less kids of this generation and more people who were kids when the first Dragon Ball came out.
Right.
And we have less time on our hands. We're busy. So thank you for respecting our time and giving us a more concise story. And that's my opinion anyway.
I believe a few people have fan questions. If anyone wants to come up to the microphone, otherwise I'll keep talking to these guys and you guys won't get a chance. But yeah, please make your way to the microphone just at the front here. We do have one. If anyone else wants to come up, we can. I just want to make sure everyone gets a chance.
Don't be shy.
Come on. It always happens to wait for one person to come up, and then starts with 3, and then you end up with 10 by the end.
Yep.
So name and question, please. Thank you very much.
The anime industry, I'm happy about how much they produce over the years, and I'm always wishing for the happiness and prosperity of everyone, from voice actors and directors. A few months ago, one of the leading figures, Mike McFarlane, had an emergency surgery. Is he okay now?
He's still in recovery. He's still in physical therapy. And he also had some tough stuff happen with his house situation. And so he can totally really use all of our support. And he's truly a pillar of our community. So, and that's, for those that don't know, Mike is the voice of Master Roshi. And he did incredible work and continues to. I have gotten to see him, and he's doing a lot better than he was. I can tell you that much.
No, thank you for bringing that up as well. So please go check out that GoFundMe. Oh, wow.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Dana Lee. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. You look fantastic.
I was wondering, like, everyone who watches Dragon Ball has their favorite Dragon Ball scene. Obviously, you have the thing with the basketball incident. I was wondering, what is your favorite scene of all Dragon Ball?
I forget who Goku was talking to, but the scene where we as viewers realize that Goku probably killed his adoptive father as a giant monkey. I have always had a really dark sense of humor. And so like the way he's like, yeah, the full moon came and I woke up naked and Master was gone. I was like, oh my God, dude. I don't know, that always stuck with me.
There's so many I can think of. I mean, the first that obviously comes to mind is Teen Gohan versus Cell, the Super Saiyan 2. That's like,
Oh yeah.
the classic. I've done that scene as a kid so many times growing up. Just Stephanie, again, did such an amazing performance. And I know that she was going through a hard time herself as she was experiencing the loss of her mother, which she's talked about before, and channeling a lot of that anger and rage, I think, is what makes that performance so raw and real. And I think that's one of the magical things about Dragon Balls. We can all resonate with wanting to like rise up to the occasion and save the world and protect our friends and our family in some way. But that was one of those moments where like it makes me emotional thinking about it. Like you see your father and everybody else, your friends, just getting decimated and having to like go beyond what anybody else has gone before. And it was just such a cool moment, historical. And I also just love too when the Vegeta and Goku scene, they're talking about the fact that Goku's never kissed his wife. I think that is one of the most hysterical moments. And he's like, "You've never kissed your wife and yet you've got kids?" He's like, "That's weird." Thank you.
In question, thank you very much.
I didn't know that. I had missed that. That's amazing.
Oh, you have to watch this scene. It is hysterical.
I think that went viral on TikTok at one point as well.
I would imagine so.
Yeah. Next question, name and question. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Joshua, and I was just wondering, since I finished Dragon Ball Super, what should I go on to next?
Have you seen Daima yet?
No.
There's your answer.
Well, there you go.
The answer is
Thank you.
simple.
Yeah.
That is the best advertisement right there. What you be watching? This show.
Yep.
What was your favorite line to record in Daima?
My name is Glorio. Goku's constantly getting my name wrong. He has so far called me Gordito, Gazebo, Galero, many others. It's most obnoxious.
Gosh, I had so many great moments. I think one of the first ones you hear from him is, "Whoever turned me into a brat is going to pay." And that's like absolutely Vegeta to a T. And I'm already getting sick of this stumpy little body. Like, I feel like those are so... And saying blast is a billion times just
Yes.
so fun.
Brilliant. Thank you. That was an amazing question. Next, name and question.
Hi, my name is Sean. First, I want to say thank you very much for even doing Daima, because a lot of our Z fans and super fans may have not liked GT. And what I think you guys have done have really, as you guys have said, integrated a situation, not too many episodes, but such a compelling storyline. And I wanted to ask, how do you guys, how would you compare Daima to GT, and how you came up with the storyline? Because a lot of people, for example, didn't like the idea of Goku being young, but Sean, Chris all said it was such a good idea for Daima looking at storylines. How do you guys think you worked towards doing this to make sure that us fans would really enjoy Daima?
As actors, we truly have no say over how the story is written. Sometimes we can rework a single line, like the verbiage or the sort of angle of a line, but the overall story is made in Japan, and Akira Toriyama gets full credit for this one. This is, I believe he sketched out this whole story. And I think that it was a fun choice. And I think Toriyama, I keep saying it wrong. I think he's always kind of gone with rule of cool over like strict immersion and like strict agreeing with making sure things agree with exactly what was said in the past. Yeah, I don't know. I think he went with this because he is really fond of exploring that notion of Goku being a combination of innocence and immense power. And I also think he was interested in telling a political story. You know, there's a lot of power struggle and scheming. And I love the way that he writes scheming characters, like dishonest characters, you know, Hercule and, what's the doctor?
Dr. Jiro.
Yeah.
He's so good at these goofy villains that end up being scary in the end, but they're mostly goofy. And I think he just wrote what was fun for him. And whenever the creative team is having fun, it tends to be fun for the viewers as well.
I think it was also, I mean, again, I can't speak on behalf of Akira Toriyama and assume what he was thinking, but like as a fan, I think there's got to be some element to the fact that, you know, just from my involvement, like fans have been wanting to see Vegeta go Super Saiyan 3, spoiler alert, for so long, and kind of address those things that have happened in what people consider canon in the story means a lot to people. And so I think there was a lot of him trying to canonize in his story moments that are important to him and things that were kind of maybe receptive from a fan perspective. So that I think means a lot to people. And then making them be the miniature versions. I mean, Dragon Ball is the key kind of like suspect in like constantly raising the power level scales. So, you know, to do a story in between two of the arcs that has existed already, to just have them be so strong and defeat these characters that have already kind of been at that power level, I think scaling them back and seeing them adjust to their bodies again and find their strength within this kind of handicap is a really fun way of doing it. So GT, I think everybody has their opinions about, and they did some really cool stuff with that, but I think Daima had a very clear focus of how they wanted to tell a story about the demon realm and these characters in this world that we knew about, but didn't really know the specifics about. There's still stuff I feel like they talked about that they haven't fully discussed yet within there.
Exactly. We need Diamond 2 for sure.
Fingers crossed, right?
I really did appreciate your work. Thank you, Gloria, and I'm a big Vegeta fan. Thank you so much.
Thank you, buddy.
so much.
Thank you. I don't care what my timer's saying, we are definitely finishing just because of this outfit. It has to happen. Question, very quick.
Hi, I'm David, and I was wondering, have you seen the Dragon Ball Z Air Bridge series? And if you have, which is your favorite quote from it?
Oh my gosh. I've seen so many clips of it. I've not watched and seen it in its entirety.
Same, yeah. I've seen clips. I don't, on the spot, I don't know if I can remember one.
I know, I couldn't pull it. What is your favorite moment?
Hey, Vegeta, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Yep.
Goku, where'd you get the muffin from? Muffin Burton?
Yeah, that's our favorite too. Yeah.
I picked that
yeah.
one.
What a coincidence. That is so weird. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you.
And thank you everyone for those questions. Big round of applause. And thank you guys so much for coming all the way across here, interacting with the UK fans. Is there anything you'd like to say just before we finish off the panel? Where can people find you? What you have coming up?
We're signing over there, so come and say hi for sure if you're here.